Todd for G66. Welcome to another Tuesday Tone Tip. On today's video, I want to show you how you can transform a classic Fender amp model into a snarling Marshall style beast. Let's go. To get started, I've got a preset with a drive, amp, delay, and reverb. Let's enter amp mode by pushing buttons 2 and 3 together. I've currently got the 65 bass guy normal amp model. I haven't touched any of the amp controls, but I have loaded in my free user cab, LTTV Mix 7. This one is linked in the video description if you want to grab it. This cab IR is based on a Marshall 4x12 with greenback. So that combo of a Marshall cab and this bassman is already going to start to sound, to me, what I would associate with a Marshall style sound. Basically, you can get that Malcolm Young AC/DC vibe from it. Let's hear it with a Les Paul Custom on the bridge pickup. I really like that already. It's quite bright and aggressive, but there is an awesome texture to the distortion. That is the sort of tone that would blend perfectly well with a slightly darker, more saturated lead guitar tone. On the second channel on here, I've got the same amp model, but I've just turned the gain up a little bit. I've cranked the treble up and backed the bass off. We get this. Love that combination as a classic rock tone. Put a drive pedal in front of it, add a tape delay afterwards, and I could do a classic rock style jam with that any day of the week. I want to get this a little bit more in line with that classic late 60s, early 70s saturated Marshall tone though. And to do that, we're going to do our first virtual mod. We're going to enter amp expert mode by pressing the page left and page right buttons together. Then we'll page right once. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the bright cap value from this relatively low value of 120 picofarads. We're going to crank that to 4,700 picofarads. This is the same value that you find in a Marshall super lead circuit. So we're going to crank this one all the way up, and essentially it is going to give us this gigantic mid-range boost and add a whole bunch of saturation on there. So we've got 4,700-ish, close enough on there. Again, an actual bright cap would have a tolerance to it, so it wouldn't be that exact value either. Let's have a listen to what this does now. awesome, right? And you could hear as I stepped through different bright cap values on there, how the amount of saturation and the gain structure changed on there. That greenback cab IR, modding the bright cap, I could stop right there. But of course, the beauty of the AM4 and the other Fractal products is that you can go as deep as you like. So what I'm going to do on here is go into the preamp section a little bit deeper on channel C over here. And what we're going to do is we are going to scroll down until we get to the saturation switch. So I've currently got this set to on ideal. I'm going to turn it off. I've got the saturation drive at 5. Have a listen to what happens when I turn this to the ideal setting on here. These are the same amp block settings as channel B. We're just going to bring the sat switch in. I just added a little bit of the mono tape delay at the end there. That's sounding pretty brown and it's super satisfying to play. If you wanted to, you could go to the power amp tab in expert mode and play around with things like the negative feedback control on here. If you bring this control down, the amp's going to be a little looser, a little more, to me, squishy to play. You could also play around with things like the supply sag and the variac as well. There's so many great ways to virtually mod your amp in here. I'd love to know if you're using one of the bass guy models in here, or if you're just sticking to the good old standard Plexi in here. I'll play you out by comparing the Plexi with the gain on 6, bass on 3, treble on 7, and presence all the way up to what we had with these different Bassman models on here and these virtual mods. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments section below. Otherwise, I will see you all next week for another Tuesday Tone tune.